One of two separate move-in days that will take place for the Kansas City Chiefs here on the campus of Missouri Western beginning today. Chiefs and Bills tabbed the game of the year when we first learned of the matchup in the divisional round. A rematch of last year's AFC title game, a rematch of a Week 5 loss by Kansas City, a rematch of two of the hottest quarterbacks in the game. Ahead of kickoff, 3 upsets in the divisional round by road teams, all walk-off field goals. But there's no way this one could surely live up to the hype. That is where we were wrong. The Kansas City Chiefs looked like the greatest show on turf over the first 3 drives of Sunday's AFC Championship. This week, the Big Ten announces its return, and sources tell the news press we are close to a return over at Missouri Western. According to a source close to the situation, Missouri Western is confident football will be played this year, and the department is exploring all options. After a year of reduced crowds and panic every week on if the football season would continue, 2021 is back to normal. I'm in Independence, Missouri, where the Central Indians are preparing to take on the Fort Osage Indians.
News Press Now sports director Brandon Zenner is here in the studio with the latest. Good evening, Brandon.
Yeah, good evening, Jacob. That's right. The past 4 years have been some of the best for Griffin Athletics since Josh Looney was hired as the athletic director, but sources tell News Press Now that he will be on his way out at the end of this week, and Josh Looney will be named the next director of athletics at Division I North Alabama, an announcement that is expected to come down on Monday. To the Fieldhouse we go. The 25th ranked Western women looking for win number 16 on the year, playing host to Lincoln. But first, give me some gritty, Camille. In the first 2-man game between Jordan and Corbin Cunningham, Corbin catches, shoots for a pair. She had a massive night. Then look at the effort, saves the ball going out of bounds, and Camille Evans, she had 7 points, 8 boards. Later in the first, Alyssa Bonilla, fast break to Mary Foltz, 12 for Mary off the bench, grips by 5 after 1. To the second we go, Bonilla. The no look to Corbin, 7 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals for Alyssa. Then Michael Gray. She was plus 27 and beats the buzzer there, Western up 10. But in the third, Lincoln's Aaliyah Bayo. Now they're last in the league in 3-point shooting, but they made 9 in the opening 22 minutes. It's a 3-point game. But Evans to Cunningham, she goes for 20 and 8, 15 and 9 for Connie Clark. Bree Budget's 14 points in the final 12 minutes. A 34-6 run. Western pulls away to win by 31. They're 16 and 3. Well, Missouri Western has been the kings of the comeback the last 2 weeks. 28 points in the third quarter against Fort Hays, 31 points in the second half against Emporia State, both ending up with wins for Missouri Western. And now they bring the 2-game winning streak on the road as the Griffins travel to Washburn on Saturday. The Griffins are outscoring opponents 72-23 after the half and have spent the week looking for ways to start fast. We are out here at Spratt Stadium, just about an hour away from kickoff between the Griffins and the number 2 ranked Bearcats. We have the Griffins in all black tonight. We have the Bearcats in all white. It is going to be a matchup that we have been anticipating for some time. And the Bearcat men returning possibly the best backcourt duo in the entire country, Diego Bernard and Trevor Hudgens. But the standard remains the same going into a title defense season. For the first time in program history, East Buchanan football is a state champion. 21-7 winners over Marceline on Saturday here at Faurot Field in Columbia, Missouri. Good evening, Michaela. Twice in recent years have we seen Lafayette come to Maryville to end the season as they traditionally do with the NBC title on the line. I'm Brandon Zenner live at the Hound Pound ahead of our game of the week. It's unlikely that St. Pius falls tonight to Savannah to give the winner of this game here a share of the NBC title, but there's still plenty on the line with both teams trying to get momentum in the final week of the regular season going into districts next week. For Kansas City, the Super Bowl had become the standard after back-to-back championship appearances entering this postseason. But Mahomes, after the game, saying, quote, "Whenever you taste that win in the Super Bowl, anything less than that just isn't a success." So about Sunday night, the true definition of an instant classic, quite possibly the best quarterback duel we've seen in the history of the NFL. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, each with over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and leading their team in rushing. Yes, Morgan, the city of St. Joe was on pins and needles until about a month ago. The Chiefs of Missouri Western announcing that training camp would be returning to Buchanan County. The Chiefs offense has been the main attraction here at training camp for quite some time, but with new additions on the defense, especially in the linebacker core like Willie Gay and Nick Bolton, they are making their stamp here in St. Joe. For the second straight week, 13 seconds left and a half for Everett, changing a game here at Arrowhead Stadium. This time, the AFC Championship game, Cincinnati and Kansas City. The Bengals, a pass interference inside their own end zone, giving the Chiefs the ball at the 1-yard line. Life has never been easy for Travis Hartman.
Sometimes things do get hard, but those who want to do, they do.
The result? more than 2 decades inside the ring.
I just feel lucky and blessed to be where I'm at. If I wanted to quit, I would quit, but I wouldn't be here if I quit a long time ago when things got hard.
And it's burned inside him from the start.
Sam Whitaker's his name. I really don't know where the kid's at now. I would love to reach out to him because it's a blessing. And I stayed the night at his house. I was 6 years old, Osborne, Missouri. I stayed the night at his house. His parents took us to the YMCA here in Cameron, and they had a boxing program. 6 years old, I'm like, this is amazing. I want to do this. Sometimes our passion takes us over, and that's without a single doubt in my mind. Boxing's been my passion since I was 6 years old.
3 weeks before a U.S. Olympic trial qualifier in 2004, Hartman nearly saw everything taken away from him.
I woke up to my house on fire. So me and my younger brother's house burned down. 3 weeks later, I actually turned pro after my house had burned down in January of 2004. So I've been through adversity my whole career, my whole life.
Since then, he's gone on to fight some of the best boxers in the world, from Keith Thurman to Terrence Crawford. But again in 2010, on his way to fight future world champion Jamel Charlo, his career and life nearly ended.
On the way to the doctor, I was getting my physical for the boxing match. I got in a car wreck. Somebody rear-ended me when I was on the highway. So I'm literally stopped on a major 36 highway. This guy smashes in the back of me going like 65 miles per hour. So I was out of boxing for 2.5 years because of a neck injury. At
the start of the year, Hartman vowed to make 2019 his last one inside the ring. His post-fighting career will see him turn into a promoter and repay his hometown.
It's a long-term plan, but I genuinely think that we can bring TV to St. Joe, and I'm not going to give up until we do.
Despite good health, Friday night at Phil Welch Stadium could be the swan song for the true comeback kid.
This could be my last fight, and I'm not taking anything for granted. I'm trying to live this whole journey all the way out because I know that this could be my last fight. I mean, I want to go out on my own terms. Like I said, one of my good friends told me, he said, use boxing, don't let boxing use you.
Brandon Zenner, News Press Now Sports. Every coach has a mentor, a role model from their rise through the ranks. Few have an idol with the name, recognition, or accomplishments of Missouri Western men's basketball coach Will Martin.
I was so blessed to be able to work for him and learn from him.
That would be one Kentucky head coach John Calipari.
They said, Will got that job in Missouri. I went, what? Great for him. He said, he'll do a great job.
Will led the Griffins to an NCAA tournament in his first season and is in the midst of his second year on the sidelines. From the moment he was announced as the Griffins head coach, Will had himself a fan.
I think what you've seen is a young person who's committed to helping other people. And that's a hard deal when you're young.
The lessons Will learned as a manager at Kentucky are endless, but began on his first day under Coach Cal.
The first week on the job for him, he had the managers over, and we had no idea what it was for. And we get there, and we were all nervous. And he comes out in an apron, and he serves us steak. And we have dinner at his house, and he talks to us about servant leadership and what that means. And
being a great teammate means you serve others. You're more concerned about that than anything. You're more concerned about adding value to someone else's life. And when you do that, that's being a giver. You create joy.
He instills that in his managers and his coaching staff and in his players.
And from the outside, Coach Cal has seen the payoff with his own eyes.
Life is about creating relationships, and he did that, which gave him opportunities. He was always there for them, but they were there for him.
The Kentucky Blue also runs deep in the Western coaching staff, hiring former Kentucky players John Hood and Perry Stevenson as staff members this year.
And then when he hired John and Perry, I thought, what a great move.
Having Coach Hood and Coach Stevenson on my staff, that's just part of that loyalty, that family.
And when you got people around you that are for you and you're for them, you get through this.
And Calipari will continue rooting for Will, maybe even eventually coaching against him one day.
Yeah, we may. There's state. We got teams in state that are always all over us, but yeah, that could happen.
One final time.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Spratt Stadium on the campus of Missouri Western State University.
Longtime voice of the Griffins hit the airwaves of St. Joseph.
I'm Dave Riggett. One final time. Let's do it.
A 12-year career as the soundtrack to sports in St. Joe and Mo West, Dave Riggett has taken his talents east to fulfill the dream as a Division I voice for James Madison.
It's been a goal of mine to have a Division I job, be a play-by-play guy for Division I University, and I honestly didn't know if it was going to happen. It just feels like the right situation. It's the right time.
A new dream realized, but memories left behind.
Well, honestly, driving up here, I mean, I kind of got a little teary-eyed, to be honest with you. There were some emotions that started to hit, like, wow, this is my final game here, because I've been here for so long, and it's been such a great place to broadcast, and there's been some great moments here on this field.
Riggert witnessed some of the glory days in St. Joseph athletics. A playoff football return from Mo West.
Missouri Western wins its first ever NCAA Division II playoff game.
A state basketball title by the Benton girls.
The Benton girls, the 2015-2016 Class 4 state champions.
The resurgence of Missouri Western basketball.
Oh, knocked away again. Hello, here we go. Showtime. Taylor Bennett cocks it back with 2 hands. Camille in the lane to the basket. Floats one up. It scores. 11-0 the run.
Multiple Mink League titles.
Matt Johnson will ride his Mustang off into the sunset,
leaving behind more than just memories inside the booth.
In this business, you try and make an impact on people, lift people up to a different pedestal, and I think I was able to do that here, and I feel good about the legacy that I kind of left behind.
And taking just as much with him.
The relationships are a big part of it, and I'll get to take that with me no matter where I go.
I'm Dave Riggert. One final time. So long, everybody.